Hello, everyone. It's saying we're live. I didn't see the countdown, but we are live. This is Glenda Woolfolk of No Sister Left Behind, and we're continuing our higher education empowerment program tonight with our third workshop, which is about financial aid, funding for college. And tonight we have two ladies from Cal State, Bakersfield, and they're going to be presenting tonight. So we're excited about that. Thank you, Rochelle. I see you. We have Rochelle is on. So thank you so much, ladies. And we're going to get started. So I'm going to have, oh, Pam says she's not coming up. Pam is going to come up and talk a little bit to you about the No Sister Left Behind membership before we get started.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for tuning in tonight. I just want to remind everybody about membership. Membership is so important to this organization. If you have not joined No Sister Left Behind, I urge you tonight to join No Sister Left Behind. It's very easy, very simple. All you have to do is go to our website at No Sister Left Behind, the number 2.org. Look for the icon membership, hit membership, and it will take you through a number of prompts to sign up. Also, members, this is how you can help the organization. Tonight, if you would please hit your share button. Share, share, share. This information needs to get out to everyone. It's about financial aid. And if you have someone in your household, if you have a sister, if you have a niece, a nephew, anyone who is looking to return to school, you know it does cost money. So if you would please share this so that they will get the important information that they need in order to attend college. Thank you very much. And next we have our financial aid workshop coordinator tonight from Cal State Bakersfield, Chris and Christy. Chris and Christy, C&C. They will be here to give you the important information that you need. Now, if you have some questions, please do not hesitate to type in your questions. What we will do at the end of the program is we will have them answer those questions. So remember, if there's a question that comes up, please just type it in. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. Chris.
Good evening. My name is Christine Lopez, and I go by Chris. I'm the Assistant Director of Financial Aid at Cal State Bakersfield, and I have with me Christy Luna. Good evening, everyone. Christy, she is our financial aid counselor. She is our work study coordinator, our assistant to the federal's grants program. She does a lot for us. I know I'm kind of short, sorry. So she's going to be presenting with me tonight, and we are ready to answer any questions that you have. So we'll go ahead and get started on the presentation, and we'll go from there. So we have the PowerPoint up. If you can't see us, I apologize, but we'll come back on screen once the PowerPoint is over and answer any questions. Sorry about the delay. So financial aid timeline. There is a timeline when you do apply for financial aid. It really starts when you fill out the FAFSA, or the California Dream Act application. The FAFSA is pay for filling out the FAFSA. Don't ever fall for any tricks. If someone's saying there's organizations that will help you fill out the FAFSA, but they'll charge you. Always, if you have any questions, reach out to the local financial aid office of the institutions that you're interested in applying for and ask questions in regards to the FAFSA and the California Dream Act, and they can help you fill that out. The both applications open on October 1st. This application that's coming up, this is last year's application, but the application that's coming up is for the 22-23 academic year, and that opens up on October 1st of 2021. You still, if you plan on attending college coming up this fall, you will fill out the 21-22 application, and that's open currently. For financial aid at CSUB, once applications open up, we start having what we call FAFSA workshops, and we assist students on helping them fill out the FAFSA or the California Dream Act. Since COVID, we've done just online Zoom meetings, and they went really well. We helped a lot of students. We are anticipating going back on campus, and so we're hoping to have both in-person and Zoom, and to continue the Zoom workshops for students that may not be able to attend the in-person, so we can help all the students that need help. We have a scholarship application that is opened up on January 1st. That opens up every year on January 1st. So between November and the months of February, we do have those FAFSA and Dream Act workshops, but the month of February, we have scholarship workshops where we help you fill out the scholarships and answer any questions that you may have. With those applications, all three of those applications, there is a priority deadline. That priority deadline is March 2nd. It is a priority deadline. What that means is you really want to try to have it filled out by that time, but if you don't, you still can fill it out, because financial aid is always available year-round. It's just you might miss that deadline for need-based aid that's just limited funding. So we always encourage everyone to fill out the applications by March 2nd. In financial aid at CSUB, we start awarding students, sending out notifications to students, any documents that may need from students around March, February, March. That's when we start communicating with you guys for the following year that's coming up. If you're looking to start school in this next fall, we would, at CSUB, you'd fill out the application and we would start immediately talking to you about what we need or what we, things on that nature. So if you're looking to start this coming fall and for spring, make sure you reach out to this institution that you're interested in applying for and ask about the current FAFSA or Dream Act application. Around May, we start awarding at CSUB, we start awarding our scholarships, the priority scholarships. I'm not sure how other institutions do it, so I would reach out to the institution that you're interested in going to and ask about scholarships and deadlines and how to apply. We at CSUB, we disperse our financial aid typically a week before each term starts. So that's when we would go ahead and disperse aid out to the student to pay for their tuition, help buy their books, and then any remaining aid that's available then would go to the student to help them support their needs for the rest of that term. So it's typically a week before the term starts. This is a little bit, this is for this current year for us. So like our fall semester is targeted to start on August 23rd of 2021. So that's kind of how the timeline is for this current year. And then it's just the same timeline for next year. It's just going to have different dates in there. So there, like I said, there are two type applications. There's the FAFSA and there's the Dream Act application. One is the FAFSA, you have to be a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-citizen to be able to qualify for filling out the FAFSA. If you don't fall into that category, then we recommend that you fill out the California Dream Act application, and then that determination would be depending on what your status is, whether you would be eligible for filling out the Dream Act application as well. So it's either one or the other. You wouldn't fill out both. I kind of got ahead of myself. So again, the FAFSA is for the U.S. citizens or eligible non-citizens. You must have a valid, it's not a work authorization, but you must have a valid Social Security card in order to fill out the FAFSA. If you don't have a valid Social Security card, then that's when we would tell you to fill out the Dream Act application. The Dream Act application is for undocumented, non-resident, documented students who have attended a California school for 3+ years, anywhere between kindergarten through 12th grade. They graduated from a California high school or the equivalent, attend a California public or private college within the private college or university, excuse me, and that's who would fill out the DREAM Act application. So we're going to kind of break down the awards that you may be eligible for. Just it all depends on the data that's collected on either or application. It gets processed either through California Student Aid Commission or it gets processed through the federal government. They send us the information, and then from the information that they send us, we can determine what a student would be eligible for based on what their need is. So there's grants, scholarships, and loans. So grants, on the grant side, you have a Pell Grant. A Pell Grant is an entitlement grant. So that is based on need, and that's it's a range. There's a range where the most need to, the most need, which would be like a 0 EFC to about a 5,000 EFC, which is a number that's generated based on that FAFSA that the federal government sends us. So the Pell Grant, all of the grants and scholarships, they do not have to be paid back. Okay. Maybe I was trying to tippy toe.
Tell me what's better.
Yes. Sorry.
We're trying to.
I'm on my
Better?
tippy toes.
Is it us that you can see as well, or the screen? Okay. We can hear you fine. You're great.
Okay.
Does that help at all?
Okay. Sorry. So grants, we have a Pell Grant, we have an SEOG grant, Supplemental Education Opportunity Grant, the Cal Grants, that's through the California Student Aid Commission. We have a state university grant at the CSU level, which is a grant that helps pay tuition, an EOP grant, Educational Opportunity Program. There's a middle class scholarship that's through the CSAC, California Student Aid Commission, scholarships, a teach grant, and work study. Then on the other spectrum are loans. Loans are it's a type of aid that has to be paid back. There's a subsidized loan and an unsubsidized loan. The difference between the two is the subsidized, the government's paying the interest while you're attending school and then through your grace period. Unsubsidized, the government's not paying that interest. The interest is accruing once you take out that loan, and it's your responsibility to pay that interest. You don't have to pay it while you're attending school. It can be added at the end. We have some students that they're not eligible for enough aid to help cover their tuition. So, and if they are a dependent student, they can have a parent apply for a Parent Plus loan that can help them go to school. That is credit-based, and it really is credit-based on the parent. Student loans, the subsidized and unsubsidized, that's with the student. It's under the student's name, and it's not credit-based. It's just if you want to go to school, you're eligible for it, depending on what the need is. Grad Plus loan is if you're in a graduate program and you need extra funds, and that's credit-based. And then an alternative private loan, that would be kind of like your last resort if you don't qualify for any of the need-based aid and you still need additional aid to go to school. That's through an outside institution, and it is credit-based. So for scholarships, at our institution, we have one scholarship application. It's called our Academic Works. We have this scholarship application that opens up on January 1st, priority deadline's March 2nd. And you go and fill it out, and it kind of matches you with the different types of scholarships we have within CSUB, and it'll help you determine which ones to apply for or which ones it'll apply for you. So that's what we have at CSUB. There are some outside scholarships. There's some scholarship engines, like free scholarship search engines, and we've kind of listed them here. If you ever have any questions on how to apply for a scholarship, most institutions will probably have it on their website, like we have it on our website. So even if you're not attending CSUB, we provide a list of credible search engines to apply for scholarships, because there are some scams out there, and you want to make sure that you aren't one of those people that get caught by the scam. So make sure if you're doing scholarship search that it's a credible search engine.
And this list a lot of information. And you definitely want to make sure
I think Christy's going to take over.
All right. So this is our cost of attendance. It is for last school year, which was 2021. However, the tuition and fees amount is the same for the upcoming year. This is the cost of attendance, what we call it. It's basically an estimate of what it would cost to go to school for the school year. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to pay all of these expenses listed directly to the school. Most of the time for most students, the only amount you're going to pay directly to the school is the tuition and fees, which is currently around $3,800 per semester. The amount listed here, if you're able to see those, are for the whole school year. The other estimates are just other types of expenses you want to take into account, especially if you're trying to budget out for your entire school year. So the first category on there is your room and board. So of course, that's going to just depend on where you're living, what your expenses are, unless you are living on campus in the dorms. And then of course, that would be paid directly to the school. The next category is transportation. So of course, if you're driving back and forth to school, work, etc., you want to make sure that you're considering those costs there. Miscellaneous personal expenses is the next category. That would be just more budgeting for your food, maybe clothing, shoes, those personal expenses that you have, toiletries, things like that. Books and supplies, the next category. Again, this is going to differ by person, but we have an estimate of what it may cost you for the school year. Each class is going to require different books. There are ways you can save money on books, trying to maybe rent them instead of purchase them. There's some good online places to buy books and things. And then, of course, any school supplies that you may need. And then the last category, of course, is the tuition and fees. And then basically, with this cost of attendance, this does help you kind of budget and see what expenses you may need throughout the year. But we do use this amount in order to help determine your total financial aid. We can award you up to the total cost of attendance for whichever category is your living situation, if you're eligible for that much fund. So if you're eligible for several different grants and loans, we can only give you a total of up to the total cost of attendance amount. So. Anything to add on that?
Just to clarify that, it's not going to cost you the 60 days, not going to cost you the true cost would be your tuition fees and then whatever books that are charged. But the cost of attendance is an estimate of what it could, and so that's the financial work up to. It's kind of
Yes.
because when some students will see that, some parents will see that, and they'll be like, I can't afford $6,000. But it's not really going to cost you out of pocket that much money.
Yeah, so
$7,498. Is that for both semesters?
that's for the full year. Yeah, so half of that for each semester. Yeah, so it's about 27 something at 27 to 2,800 per semester. And then, of course, books and things like that you pay out of pocket, but they're going to differ student to student. So, yeah, so this 74, that's what you're going to pay for your tuition and fees for the year. And if we get more questions about that from other people, we can go back to that later too. All right. The other thing we wanted to talk a little bit about tonight is financial literacy. We have a really great tool, and it is linked on our website. If anyone wants to jot it down there, I have it at the bottom of the screen, and I'll read it in a second. But this is a tool we've kind of partnered with them to help get additional tools out to students, not just about financial aid, but about finances in general. So I think this is a really cool website. I like to show it to a lot of students and different other aspects that I've done presentations. And you may not be able to read all of it on there, but there's tools on there to help with budgeting, to help with banking, with credit card debt, learning more about credit scores, investing, insurance, how to do your taxes, learning how to read a W-2 in your paychecks. So there's a lot of good just financial financial information on there. So if you're thinking about, okay, how am I going to budget for school? If I don't have quite enough aid to cover, how am I going to make sure I can make that last? If you are relying on just your financial aid to, get through each semester, each school year, you can kind of use those skills, kind of hone your skills in budgeting and making sure that you're taking into account everything that you're going to need, to make it through that each semester and school year. Yeah, so it's a really good website. And there's also information, there are links through that website on how to apply for some scholarships, and there's some scholarship information. There's tips on finding careers. So you can actually search jobs and things on there as well. So it's just a really good, broad financial literacy website. And it is, if you go to our site, csub.edu/FinAid, so it's FINAID/literacy, it'll take you to the page where you can click on, I believe you click on the actual little iGrad logo and it'll take you right to it. So it's a great tool just in general for a lot of financial literacy topics, not just financial aid. So. Right. So the other thing, so one thing with the FAFSA application, when you are applying, or the DREAM Act, you are applying and putting on financial information that is a couple of years old. So if you are applying for the current coming up school year in fall, you would have filled out the application with your 2019 income. So as we know, especially with everything that's been going on lately, a lot of people's financial situations may have changed from that time that they put that information on the FAFSA. So we want to make sure that we are taking into account your current financial situation and in trying to determine what financial aid you're eligible for. So we have our first thing we listed on here is our loss of income. So we can take into account your current financial situation instead of that previous income. So students are able to, through our school here at CSUB, it's a loss of income form. Institutions should all have something similar if you are going to go to a different school, where you can petition, let us know kind of what has changed in your circumstances, provide us documentation of your current income, and we can take that into account and see if you may be eligible for additional aid that maybe you previously weren't under, if your income situation has changed. The other one, which I don't know if you want to talk about, the dependency override.
I'd like to add
Yeah.
income too is if you're a dependent student, that goes also for loss of parents' income. So it's the household side. So like Christy said, as we know, there's a lot of parents, there's a lot of people out there that have lost their jobs or maybe aren't working as higher paid as they used to. They still may be working, but they've lost some sort of amount within their income from 2 years ago. We're encouraging students to contact their financial aid office and ask about this loss of income. Maybe we need something different at other institutions, but definitely encouraging our students to contact us if they fall in this category, so we could look at the circumstances. Because as a financial aid administrator, it's called professional judgment, so we have that authority to use 2021 income instead of 2019 to help students be eligible for further aid than they would have for 2019. So that includes parents. Dependency override. I am the person at CSUB that actually receives the dependency overrides and reviews them and then either approves or denies them. And what a dependency override is it's a dependent student. They haven't reached that age of 24 yet on the FAFSA, but there's these dependency questions you have to answer yes or no to. Depending on how you answer that question, it would either put you as a dependent student or an independent student. An independent student, we don't need any parental information. A dependent student, we need parent information. There are situations where a student doesn't have any contact with a parent. It could be because of a really awful situation. It could be because they lost their parent. There's situations where a student can't get their parent information. And so we have a form that we have a student fill out, and they have to disclose what their situation is. And so they have to disclose what their situation is, and then they have to have somebody else kind of follow up with another supporting document. It could be a court document, it could be a relative, just also documenting what the situation is. And then it would, like CSUB would come to me, and then if I would determine yes or no,
The no's, I actually get a committee together, and so I'm not the only one making that decision. And so we have a review it and determine whether we can do a dependency override. What that is if it's determined that yes, the student needs a dependency override, they qualify, it automatically makes them an independent student, so we no longer have to get parent confirmation. We have students that call in, and so our staff is equipped to ask those prompting questions, and then at that point they get the form, and then if they feel they do fall within those circumstances, then they can fill out that form and provide the documentation and then send it on over to us. So other institutions have the exact same thing. It's a federal regulation that we can. It's called a professional judgment. Again, it's our professional judgment to determine if they qualify for that or not.
Those are a couple exceptions where we can try to work with students and families and stuff to try to make sure that we're getting them as much possible help as we can. So, our last slide is actually just, this is our finishing up our contact information here, which I'll read it off in case you can't see it well. And then we can get to any questions if anybody has questions that are here or have written them in. We currently are working from home, so emails and phones, we are still available by both of those methods currently. We will be going back to the office soon and be available in person, hopefully soon too. Our email address is finaid, so FINAID at csub.edu. And we have staff that answer emails from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So we're pretty good about getting back to students pretty quickly. So if you have questions, definitely make sure to reach out to our office, especially if you are coming to CSUB or you're considering it and you have further questions that maybe you don't want to ask here, or you have personal questions, or you can refer it to other people if you have other family members, neighbors, friends, anybody that you feel would want to reach out to us for questions. And then our phone number is 661-654-3016. And we have staff answering phones Monday through Friday from 9 to 3 as well. So, and we do have an answering service too. So if someone calls after hours, they can leave a message and we have someone call back usually within a day or so, a business day. But so I think that wraps everything up. Anything else you want to add before we get to questions?
No, I don't think so. Just on the email, if you are a current student at CSUB,
Sure, to use your ID
use
number.
your ID number, and I would say that if you're a student at any institution and you're trying to contact that institution, just make sure you have your identifier on there so they know who to look out for.
Absolutely. And if you're not currently a student, you can just let us know, hey, I'm looking to come and here's kind of my questions, concerns, and we can do our best to get you on the right track. So thanks so much for listening, and then we will open it up to any questions. Oh, good.
On the
One sec.
Okay, so we do have one question from Vicky Coffee, and she's saying, what is EFC?
Yes, and she alluded to it, but didn't explain it. It stands for Estimated Family Contribution. That is the number that is determined by the processor of, so the Department of Ed, if you're completing a FAFSA, or the California Student Aid Commission, if you're doing a DREAM Act. They give us that number, and that helps us determine what you're eligible for. So we use that information. It tells us what type of aid you're going to be eligible for, how much, and things like that. So estimated family contribution, and that is determined by the processor of those applications. So hopefully that helps.
Also, we have a question from Heather Bradford, and she's asking tonight, what GPA do you need for academic work?
It's going to depend on the scholarship. Each scholarship is going to have their own GPA requirement. Do all of them have GPA? Some of them may not have GPA requirements. So it really just depends on the scholarship and what that organization that gives out that scholarship is looking for. When you fill out like our personal, the SUB academic works application, you'll put in your GPA, you'll put in, you'll answer a bunch of questions and it'll let you know which ones you're eligible for. But there's not a specific GPA. It really depends on each individual. Okay. It really depends on each individual scholarship. Some will ask for certain GPAs, some may not ask for a GPA. So it really is just going to depend on each individual scholarship. Yes, yeah, in case you didn't hear, the EFC, it's estimated family contribution, and that is a number that is calculated by the processor of the application. So the Department of Education, if you're completing a FAFSA, and the California Student Aid Commission, if you're completing the DREAM Act. That number that they give us back helps the financial aid office determine what type of aid that you will be eligible for.
If I want to go to school, say in the fall, which is what?
In a few weeks.
I would have had to apply for financial aid when? Or when is the last
You
day I
can
could
still do it. So if you're looking to and have not done an application yet and are looking to come to school this fall that will start in August, you can still complete a FAFSA or a DREAM Act application. The priority deadline has passed. However, you can actually still complete an application all the way through next June. So it's never too late to complete your application. And a lot of the aid, like if you are eligible for Pell Grant, as Chris stated, that's an entitlement grant. So regardless of when you do your application, if you're eligible for it, we're going to be able to give it to you. A lot of the grants, the Cal Grant awards, our state university grant, there's a few grants like that we do prioritize to those who did their application before the priority deadline. But there's still a lot of aid that we can still award even if you're doing it after that March 2nd priority deadline. So never too late to at least get it done and we can see what you're eligible for.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yes.
About the Teach loans. What is that about?
The Teach Grant?
The Teach Grant.
Okay, so she's asking about the Teach Grant, if you guys couldn't hear the question. The Teach Grant is a program geared toward students who are going to go into the teaching field. Some students that are bachelor students can be eligible for it, students working on a teaching credential, and even some master students. So we do designate it towards certain majors that are planning to go into that teaching field. It is a grant that you can take out. There are certain criteria that you have to meet in order for it to stay grant money that you don't have to pay back. Part of it is teaching. When you go into teaching, you have to teach so many years in certain fields. I haven't worked on this grant in a while, so it's certain type of fields, high need categories. So it may be teaching, math or sciences, whatever the high need fields are, you do have to work within for so many years in those fields. If you don't, it can turn into a loan, but it's definitely for someone who's planning on going into a teaching credential program, it's a great resource to help in addition to the rest of your financial aid. So
what about nursing?
We have a nursing loan. It is a loan that has to be paid back, but there are nursing loan funds specific to nursing students available at CSUB as well.
Yeah. Ms. Deborah Bradford, she also asked, how many scholarships does Cal State offer?
A lot. I don't have a number. There are a lot of scholarships. Our scholarship coordinator is not here with us, so she would have more details. But there are a lot. Our academic works application has probably thousands. Yeah. And then there's links in there to outside scholarships, as we mentioned, and our website lists some of those, search engines and stuff. So I would definitely definitely get in there and apply, and then apply to as many as you can find. So.
Just to be mindful that these scholarships, the donors and committees that choose recipients, so we just kind of facilitate the awarding and the allocation, but the actual information comes from the actual program, but it's for that.
Yeah, and with that, the scholarship application it opened up in January, and it has that March 2nd priority deadline as well. once scholarships get chosen, they do start choosing them in May and over the summer. So some of them have already been determined and, the recipients chosen. But we definitely still encourage everyone to complete the application because there are some that haven't been awarded out yet, or maybe they haven't found, enough people to qualify to look through the application. So even though it's past the priority deadline for that as well, we still encourage you to get that done because you never know what funds are still out there waiting for the right scholarship applicant. So. Any other questions?
I'm taking notes.
Our in-house audience. Good. Well, and if any of you guys or anyone has more later, definitely reach out to us. Like I said, we left our email and phone number, or you can always go to the CSUB website and just search financial aid. Our contact information's on our website too. So.
This year,
From what I've heard, it should be staying the same. So the information I put up on the slide was from last year, but from what I've seen so far, that has been staying the same. We haven't heard otherwise at this point.
no.
Not that we have heard.
So
I'm not going to say it can't, but
the tuition is given to us by the chancellor's office. Fees are associated to the individual campus. So our fees could be adjusted. Like last year, I think it was adjusted by.
It was minimal, but
I think they reduced it by $5. So the fees could be adjusted. Those could change. But the chancellor's office does this discussion, and from what we've been told, it's staying status quo for this next academic year. So we don't know about the following years, but this academic year, we've been told that tuition is staying. So
and
the fees could be adjusted just a little bit.
right. And the totals that we were talking about earlier, the $2,700-$2,800 per semester, that was including tuition and fees together. So.
Well, yes. Let me follow up with that. Financial aid is available to everybody, and one of the misconceptions that students have is, I didn't get financial aid because I didn't get loans. I only got loans, and so financial aid includes loans. So yes, you are eligible for financial aid. You're just not eligible for grant money. You're only eligible for loan money. At our institution, we don't encourage students to take out loans unless they truly need it to go to school. But there are some students that's all they're eligible for, and so they can choose to take out the loans or not, and they just know they have to be responsible for paying the tuition if they don't need the assistance that's been provided to them by the Department of Education with the loans. So yes, financial aid does include loans. So does everybody qualify for financial aid? Yes, but there may be some students that don't qualify for any reason and they only qualify for unsubsidized.
Is there a special tuition or anything for seniors going back to school that are over 60?
The tuition is no different. There is a senior fee waiver. I don't have criteria on that, but there is we see in our system, we don't provide that for them. I think they have application for admissions, and it's waived through our student financial services office, but I believe it waives their entire tuition. But their tuition fee is the same, they just have that waiver that helps them pay for that.
Yes. Yeah, it's not run through our office, so we don't have the details on it. But yes.
But it's available.
Yes.
So I would inquire.
Yes. Very good question. Any other questions? Anything else?
That's it.
Well, I'm trying to get over the fact we're just new today. And I'm state basis.
I did too. I didn't mean to. Our blue. Perfect. Well, thank you guys all so much. Very nice for us. Okay. Perfect. Do you need to say any last words here before we? Do you need to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Close out. But did you have
Perfect.
something to say?
I think I was trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to add, but I can't think of anything at the moment.
I would like to say this was a first for myself. I've never done a live presentation.
Yes, me either.
Through Zoom, yes, but like this is the first one I've ever done, and it was perfect. So thank you.
Something different. Thank you. I'm gonna close that out.
Hi, ladies. We thank you so much for participating in our financial aid, and we want our aid workshop. And we want to thank our speakers tonight, our presenters, Christy and Christine Chris. We thank them so much. They did an excellent job. I mean, just excellent job. And I'm glad we found out some information about the seniors. So thank you so much, ladies. We're going to end early and we're going to get on out of here. But are they saying we still can't hear? Can you hear the speakers? Okay. Can you hear me? Or are we good? We're good? Okay. All right. We thank you for coming on and participating. Next week, we're going to have our finale. We're going to have a great time of celebration, celebrating the end of this program, the Higher Education Empowerment Program. We're going to have a celebration. We're going to have people here, and we're thankful for that, from the different colleges that are going to be here with the ladies that have participated in this cohort. And if you want to come down and be a part of it, come on down and celebrate with us. Next Saturday at 6 o'clock at 1431 L Street here in Bakersfield. So come on down next Saturday at 6 o'clock and help us to celebrate our cohort that has been through this program, and congratulate them and support them. Again, thank you so much tonight. And if you have any questions that you might want to think of afterwards, just put it in the chat and we'll get in touch with Chris. Oh, look out. Oh, the membership newsletter. Did everybody get it that's a member? Yeah. Yes. Okay, great. Well, we want to thank you. We're letting you out of here early, and we thank you for participating again tonight and asking your questions. We look forward to seeing you next week, and we appreciate you so much. And again, we want to thank Chris and Christy. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much.